Hi guys, welcome back to the first episode of actual cooking. It's happening today. So you voted, we're going to use your 5 ingredients. You actually have 4, and then I get to pick the 5th. That's the sneaky little trick.
Hamster.
Yep, that's happening. So we got chicken, you chose spinach, you chose sweet potatoes, and you chose brown rice. And my bonus ingredient that I chose is chicken broth. So we're gonna have some fun. And today it's all gonna start with our slow cooker. So make sure you go grab yours. You're gonna need one. You're gonna need about 3 pounds of chicken. And then you're also gonna need a few other veggies. I've got some celery, some carrots, some onion, and some garlic here.
And some hamsters.
No hamsters. We're not cooking hamsters. Because basically the liquid we're cooking our chicken in is gonna become chicken broth too. So we're totally not gonna waste a thing with this first batch of recipes. So go ahead, grab those things.
And hamsters.
Don't grab any hamsters. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Today, part of this Fiesta chicken starts with a crock pot. We're gonna make it super easy. This is just a mixture of chicken breasts and thighs. About 2 to 3 pounds will do ya. And I just covered it with a little bit of salt, put a little bit of pepper on there. Make sure these guys are in a single layer, that way they'll cook a little bit more evenly. And I'm not using a fancy slow cooker. This is my Hamilton Beach version, circa my marriage, so all good. On top of that, I'm gonna add some what we call aromatics. This is part of an onion. I don't even cut it. I just kind of just put it on top. That's all you have to do. You can use your limp old celery. You know, those few pieces where you're like, I should have eaten those like 2 weeks ago and I didn't. Those can go in there. They're perfect for this. And if you got a carrot kicking around, you don't even have to cut it. You know, you can just drop it in. This is the beauty of it. And a couple of cloves of garlic. Now, if you don't have any of this stuff, don't worry about it. Just do the chicken. You'll be fine. I'm just doing this because we're gonna make chicken broth, like I said before. So you wanna make sure that liquid is kind of flavorful. So even if you just add a few, peppercorns like you got here, you can put a few peppercorns up in there, that will work too. Then all you got to do is add your water or broth, you can do. This is 1.5 cups for about 2 pounds-ish of chicken. And that's all you do. After you pour your liquid over the top, you cover it, set this puppy to low. Make sure it's on low. I've done it before where I've set it to the warm function. That was not good. Low for about 3 to 4 hours. You wanna make sure that when you check it, only check it after the 3 or 4 hour mark, because as soon as you raise this lid, you're gonna let all the heat out, which defeats the whole purpose of cooking it. But your chicken should reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you don't have one, now's the time to go online and order yourself a very inexpensive meat thermometer. They're literally $7 max for this cheap version. So food safety, make sure you register 165 and stay tuned. We're gonna cook the rest of the stuff coming up and just let this guy go. Let him be free to cook his business. Make sure it's plugged in. It's plugged in, the light's on. Guys, so I'm gonna show you how to cook brown rice. You need to start with a big pot and turn it to about medium-high heat. And then I always like to toast the rice first. That just gives it a little bit of a warm, yummy taste. And then you're gonna add about a tablespoon of oil. I'm using avocado oil because I just like it. It doesn't have a lot of flavor to it. It's got a high smoke point. See, 500 degrees. That's good. We like things with high smoke points because we don't like smoke and carcinogens. So yeah, that's fun. So you're gonna let this heat up in your pan. Please pardon the sounds you might be hearing because they're working on a building. So it's kind of loud. Anyway, you're gonna let this heat up. It's gonna start to shimmer and get all nice and pretty. Doesn't matter what pan you use. Oh, that's cool. There's all kinds of junk on my cooking surface. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you use. Just as long as you like it and it's big enough to hold all your rice. So I'm cooking about a rounded cup of rice. There it is. See it? Yeah. This is brown rice because that's what you voted for. That would not have been my first choice, but that's all right, we'll do brown rice. And I'm making a rounded cup. Now, if you want to double this, that makes sense to me because you're going to be using it all week. So why cook it several times? So if you want to make 2 cups, whatever. Most of the recipes I'm making will serve about 2 to 4 people each meal. So feel free. Brown rice is also one of those things that will freeze really well. So if you cook a big batch, even if you don't eat it, you can just freeze it. So that's pretty fantastic news. Alrighty, so now my oil is ready. It's about ready to storm here, so fortunately things got really dark.
Very dark.
Very dark, uh-oh. So you can tell your oil's ready when it moves around the pan pretty easily. And what was that? When it starts doing that, it's kind of wavy, then you can add your rice. I'm just gonna add it right to the pan. And like I said, I'm gonna toast it just to get a little bit of that yummy warmth from toasting. So I'm only laughing because this is taking me way too long. So I gotta figure out a different system to teach you all how to cook. I need like a producer and, you know, like a videographer and all those people to help you. Anyway, that's clearly not happening because, you know, I'm not famous. Clearly. So anyway, 1 to 2 minutes here. Like I said, you know, it's just gonna, really you're coating all those kernels in oil and getting them kind of toasty and smelling nice. And then really cooking rice is so simple. Probably most of you do this. If you have a rice cooker, you can do this using that too. There's really no rhyme or reason. This is the stovetop method. Oh, it smells.
He loves saying rhyme or reason.
Oh, this is fun. Then I'm gonna add some salt because, you know, salt's delicious. It's always good to add it before you cook it. Can you leave it out if you have something going on that requires you to, you know, not consume as much salt? Sure, totally leave it out. Up to you, but I like to add it because I like salt. All right, then I'm adding about 2 cups. This is just water. If you want to make it more flavorful, what could you do? You could add, what's she saying? What did she say? You could add chicken broth, vegetable broth. You could add beer. You could add wine. Don't do that. You could add lots of flavorful liquids. You sure could. After you add that water, you're gonna bring it back up to a boil. So if you wanna adjust your heat a bit to get it there faster, you can do that. Mine wasn't medium high, like I said, so I'm just gonna wait till it gets to high. And then once it gets to high, I'm gonna turn the heat down. You guys know how to do that, right? You turn that little knob down. And I want it to be about a simmer. So it's probably about a medium lowish temperature, but everybody's stove is different. So make sure you adjust according to what you've got. And once you got it down to a simmer, which this is kind of coming up to a boil here. Once you get it to a simmer, you're gonna cover it with your lid, and then you're gonna set your timer for 40 minutes. That's my old wrinkled hand. 40 minutes-ish, and then it should be done. And when it's done, it will have absorbed a lot of that water. You're gonna fluff it with a fork, but before you do all that, you're gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then you can do the fluffing with the fork business. And then you'll have beautiful fluffy brown rice to go with your Chicken Fiesta Bowl. So exciting. So you can cook this the night before. You can pull it from your freezer if you've already cooked a huge batch of brown rice. Lucky you. So, you know, we're working smarter, not harder here. That is the theme of 5 ingredients, 5 days. And you can see I'm coming up to a boil. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat down, like I said, to about that medium low. Cover this bad boy, set my timer, because if I don't, I will 100% forget about it. And yeah, that's it. Brown rice on the go. So it's been about 40 minutes. I'm gonna take the lid off. Voila, brown rice. Brown rice for days. All right, so you can sing a song, but you don't have to. Get your fork out. Then you just fluff it.
And we're making Easter eggs.
We're making Easter eggs too while we're doing it. We believe in multitasking. So if there's a little bit of liquid, which there is here, you can strain it. If that bothers you, you know, you can strain it for sure. Otherwise, you can kind of just let it hang out. Some of it will evaporate, but totally up to you. If you wanted to cool this down fast, what I would recommend is pouring it out onto a baking sheet and letting it cool. Then if you weren't going to eat it right away, you could also freeze it that way, and then it's flat and easy to freeze. That's always very fun. But in the meantime, you can just enjoy your brown rice and stay tuned for the rest of our Chicken Fiesta Bowl. Fiesta Bowl, we're gonna need to make a dressing because plain chicken with plain rice is boring and gross. So I love salad dressings, and I personally like to use my little mixer guy, but if you don't have one, you can do this by hand with a bowl and a whisk too. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna pull this out. But basically what we've got in here is Dijon mustard, honey, avocado oil, lime juice, and cilantro. One of my favorite herbs, yes. I'm glad I used the heaviest plate I could find to do this project. All right, so again, this is my little food processor, and it's all good. It's cute and small, but you know, you can use whatever you've got. Like I said, a bowl will work just fine. All right, so we're gonna start with a little Dijon mustard. Now, I like to use mustard because it acts as an emulsifier. You'll hear me say that a lot. It basically just keeps all the ingredients together, which is kind of nice for the ingredients. This is that fresh lime juice. If you don't have lime juice, you could use some other acid. So red wine vinegar, you could use just regular old white distilled vinegar, whatever you've got that's got a little bit of acid in it will be perfect. This is honey. You could also use agave nectar, or even a little maple syrup would be kind of fun and interesting. You can experiment. Here is that fresh cilantro. Maybe you have some in your garden. Maybe you got some in your refrigerator and you were wondering what to do with it. Well, this is what you can do with it. And then my oil. I'm gonna make sure I get all of that. That's delicious. Don't wanna miss out on that. And again, I'm using avocado oil because it's a neutral flavored oil, so I wanna taste the ingredients, not necessarily the oil of this dressing. And then of course a little salt, you know, that's what I do. Then a little crushed pepper. And that's it. And then I'm going to stick the lid on, the lazy man's way. Plus, I just kind of like it when it's all together like this. You have to be smart to put the top on. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, boy. This would be, whoa. Hang on to your seat. All right. That seems good to me. You could also add a clove of garlic. I'm trying to not do too much garlic these days. It's a little FODMAP situation, but you go for it. If you like garlic, you put it in here. You could also put jalapeno in here. That'd make it yummy and spicy. The little sous chef nodded on that one. Maybe I should have done it. Oh well, maybe next time. Okay, lid is off. And then if you're smart, you have something to put it in when you're done. Whoops, don't worry, don't you worry. I got plenty of stuff around here to put stuff in. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay. So actually, maybe I'll do this so you can see a little bit better. Because my countertop is super busy. Cute, but busy. Oh, one more thing, guys, that we often forget is make sure you taste it first, too. Nothing worse than, you know, passing out something to everybody in your family and they're all excited and then they're like, this tastes terrible. So I like to stick my pinky in. Oh, it's delicious. Make sure you scrape up the bottom, get that extra little bit of honey. But you'll see it's nice and emulsified this way, which I think is great, you know. That's why I also like to use the food processor. Again, not 100% necessary, but if you're a crazy person like me, you'll like it. All right, then you can just pour it in your cute container, or you can just leave it in there, who cares? And you're ready to go for dinner. Nice, look at that perfect fit. Look at that. I mean, I couldn't have styled that any better if I tried. Here, ooh, look pretty. All right, down to the roasted sweet potato part of the program. That's also a part of these Chicken Fiesta Bowls. So you're doing a lot of prep. I know it feels like a lot of prep, but here's the thing. A lot of this stuff you're gonna actually use twice. So instead of feeling sad about it, just feel happy because you're gonna use it again. All right, so I just wanted to give you a little tutorial. Usually I trim off the ends of the sweet potato, and then I like to give myself a flat edge. So I do it like that by cutting part of it off. And bear with me because I'm standing on top of a stool while doing this, so it's pretty special. And then once you've got that flat surface, it makes it a whole lot easier to slice your potato into planks. And then once you've got planks, you can flip your planks over. Yeah, see that? Special. And then you can just cut the planks into strips, just like this. Does it have to be perfect? No, it sure doesn't. Am I perfect? No way. Are you? Certainly not. And then just little squares. This is weird to be on a stool.
It's my stool.
I feel like I'm on some kind of weird stilts using a knife. I'm about like 7 feet from my counter, so pardon my poor knife skills at this level of height. I'm basically like reaching for my cutting board. We'll figure this out together, guys. You know, it's gonna be a process. But all right. I'm putting this all in a big bowl because I've already cut a bunch. Oh, there goes one. Rogue sweet potato. And once you've got these bad boys all chopped up in your bowl, then you can bring your bowl in. Look at that. Look at all those beauties. And then make sure you've preheated your oven. 425 is usually a good temp. And then you also want to make sure you have lined a baking sheet with parchment paper. Make sure it's a big one because look at all these potatoes. This is a lot of potatoes, about a pound. Probably a little bit more actually. I don't really weigh or measure a whole lot when I'm actually cooking. I just kind of eyeball it. I know that's really annoying. That's about a tablespoon for those who are playing along. This is just black pepper. Again, eyeballing it, whatever you like. That's what's nice about cooking. You can do whatever you want. So what if a recipe says something? Do something else. 1/8 teaspoon, we're at 1/4, we're at 3/4 of a teaspoon. No, we're not. You guys do the math. All right, about that. Usually I would use my hands to do this, but since I have to make sure I don't get my phone all greasy, I'm gonna use a spatula, but your hands work really awesome for this actually. You can really coat all sides of those sweet potatoes, which is important because we gotta make sure they're all coated in oil. That's a good task for kids at this point, or if you don't have any patience for that, you can do it yourself. Give your kids something else to do. Oh my, we're losing them. All right, so that's fine. Then you bring in that pan that you so handily prepped already. Then you can pour your potatoes out onto the pan. That was easy too. Look at this, so much easy. I like to use parchment because it doesn't stick this way. You can definitely use foil, but make sure you spray the heck out of it. Otherwise, you're gonna end up like peeling potatoes off foil all night. You'll be so mad at yourself. Don't do that. Don't be mad at yourself. All right, so in the real world, you wanna, take the time, spread them all out. That way they will cook evenly and they won't steam and they'll get nice and brown. So you're gonna cook this, you're gonna check on them about every 10 minutes. You're gonna probably cook them for about, I don't know. It depends, probably closer to 30 minutes maybe. And you just wanna be nice and golden and brown and beautiful and luscious and yummy. So one of the things you can also do, this is the plain brown rice we cooked earlier. If you've got a little extra dressing kicking around in your food processor, or you can just take some of your dressing and just put it, no worries. Lots of stuff goes on at my home while we're doing this, and it's all good. You can take the extra dressing, or about a tablespoon or so of that dressing, and then put it on your rice, and that'll just add a little bit more flavor to your rice, and that's it. Just stir it up. It'll be so much more delicious that way. This is actually brown basmati rice because that's all we have in stock here right now. So please see we're flexible. Use any brown rice. If you don't have brown rice, use quinoa or bulgur or something like that. Problem solved. All right. So once you've pulled apart your chicken, I actually just kind of like to cut it sometimes. So you can cut it, pull it, whatever floats your boat. If you've got some leftover cilantro, I would definitely toss that in. Remember, you're not using all of the chicken that you cooked because you're gonna save some of that for tomorrow's meal. And then a little extra lime juice. You might have a little bit kicking around. Then give it a big stir, and this is just adding a little bit of extra flavor. You might need to add a little salt too. And then your chicken's ready to go. Yum, that looks good, doesn't it? Just say yes. So you've done it, you've made everything. Congratulations. Now you get to eat it. Woohoo! So this is baby spinach, and I like to trim it up a bit. That makes it a little bit more fun and fluffy. You could certainly skip that step if you don't feel like it. Then after you got your spinach in there, it doesn't matter how you do it now. You could probably add a little dressing at this point to kind of saturate some of those leaves a little bit. Toss it. That just makes sure that the dressing reaches the bottom. And that's always nice because a piece of dry spinach isn't the most flavorful. All right, a little bit of chicken. Getting some serious plating action here. Then some of your delicious rice you made. Look at that. Good job, you. Then, of course, your sweet potatoes. And then you can add any of your bonus ingredients here. So if you've got this is feta cheese. I like a little cheese on mine. If you got it, sure, add it. Pumpkin seeds, got them? Sure, add them. And then the thing that always makes me smile and happy are my favorite pickled red onions. And then don't forget a little drizzle of dressing all over everything.
Yeah, that's totally gross.
And you're ready to go. Enjoy your Chicken Fiesta Bowl, my friends. You deserve it.